Arnab, Pakistan may be a weaker state. It is not a weak state. Remember that.
No, you are not a weak state. You have a weak military. That's all. You are a dysfunctional state with a weak military. That's the fact. Sushant Sareen is responding. KC Singh comes into the debate. The fact.
Numerical difference does not matter now.
I really think our Pakistani guests have a somewhat inflated opinion about their own army. Actually, the Pakistan military, the only thing that the Pakistan military has ever conquered is their own people and their own country, and most of them unarmed people whom they have butchered mercilessly, whether in East Pakistan, the erstwhile East Pakistan, or we are seeing something similar happen in Balochistan today. We are also seeing some of this happen in the KP province and other parts of Pakistan today. So please don't try and scare us.
Look at Mizoram. Look what you did to
Assam is peaceful, Mizoram is peaceful. They have elected state governments. Please don't talk rubbish.
Worse than ours. It is painted worse. I mean, when India talks of...
Sir, you don't know about Assam and Mizoram. Please don't take names without knowing the facts. Thank you. Please continue.
Now listen to me.
I cannot digest.
Now listen to me. Pakistan is proud of its army, and you are scared of Pakistan.
Of course you are, because it conquers its own people all the time. You have to be proud of it.
That is the reality. You accept that.
Absolutely.
That is the reality.
You should be proud of such an army. In fact, we are also very proud of the Pakistan army for constantly conquering their own people.
That is why you keep on harping about army.
We are absolutely scared of the Pakistan army because it only conquers its own people.
And all the time you are obsessed.
We are actually waiting for it to bring it on.
Sometime Pakistan army.
It rides everybody's mind in India.
You are scared of Pakistan.
Sir, nobody is going to listen to you. Are you realizing?
Absolutely, we are terrified of you guys.
Admiral, are you realizing that? Are you realizing one thing? Admiral, I just want to tell you, Admiral, today, nobody is listening to you anymore in the world. You know, you are like shouting away.
We don't care.
Nobody cares for what you say or do anymore. As far even the United Nations Military Observers Group, even the so-called United Nations Military Observers Group, where you went, allow me to complete, where you went crying to today.
Who is asking your advice?
Well, you know,
who is asking your advice?
Even the UN MOGIP doesn't listen to you.
We have?
Admiral, let me now pick up the other issue. KC Singh is coming into the debate.
Stop worrying about Pakistan.
Sir, please understand. Sir, you have our sympathies for your condition today. You have our sympathies, you have our concern. We are worried, but then we are also amused by what you are doing. But for the fact that you are hurting our civilians. You hurt our civilians, we are going to hurt you back. And that is exactly what you should be prepared for now.
You will get
this government, you hurt our civilians in that way, we are going to hurt you back. We don't have a dreamer like Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister who hopes to have breakfast in Lahore, then wrap it up with dinner in Amritsar. This is a realistic government that's going to deal with you in a realistic and pragmatic manner.
Prime Minister.
Now, my question to KC Singh is,
new Prime Minister,
don't make loose statements. This is not a very wise statement.
KC today, you know, KC, now, there is a military alternative, there are diplomatic alternatives. Diplomatically, is this the end of the road for Pakistan, which is why they are doing this? How should we deal with them at a diplomatic level? And then at an overall level, from a military, strategic, diplomatic perspective. Because they seem to have decided, especially after what happened in New York, to make a nuisance of themselves as much as possible along the international border. So, KC, what is the right treatment for Pakistan now?
Look, Arnab, it started even before the UNGA meeting. It started in the middle of August. Before the foreign secretaries were meeting, the border began to get heated up then. And that is why one of the reasons why India called it off. The foreign secretary level talks were called off. And I think this government decided, and that is their policy and that is their prerogative, to redraw the red lines. And I think Mr. Modi very correctly, when he went to the UN, the policy has been spelt out. Because Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif went back to the plebiscite resolution, tried his best to rouse the international community. It didn't work. There were no takers for it. And Mr. Modi, instead of getting into an altercation, simply said, please create the conditions for a dialogue. We are willing to discuss everything with you, but we will not negotiate under duress. Now, immediately after that, they've come back. And I think particularly because in the joint statement with US, the paragraph on terrorism, which talks of joint operations, has again, I think, sent a signal to Pakistan that US may be tilting in favor of India and away from them as they shift away from Afghanistan, because Pakistan's leeway with them is diminished. Now, with the elections in two sensitive states, with the desire to push militants in, with winter coming on, I think they decided to make one last bid to internationalize it. And that is why they're heating it up. And government has correctly said that will not be blackmailed. So, you know, you do tit for tat, you respond accordingly. And that is what's going on. And the unfortunate thing is that civilians on both sides will suffer. But the Pakistani military, which now has the India file with them, it is no longer Nawaz Sharif. It wants Nawaz Sharif, us to talk to Nawaz Sharif, who is a diminished prime minister. And in the meanwhile, they want to keep up the pressure and say, if you don't talk to us, we will internationalize it. And you cannot run away
but
from
this. But then this, Casey, this entire... No, Casey.
This is a new game.
Casey, this entire strategy of that makes it now impossible to engage with the Pakistanis at any serious level. I mean, if this is the way in which they are going to behave, Narendra Modi will not have,
not
despite...
at this stage.
No, Narendra Modi, whether he wants to do it or not, will not have the political mandate or the mandate of the people of this country to ever meet or resume talks with Nawaz Sharif at any level. So obviously they are not serious about talks at all. They are not serious.
No, they have to, as they say, read. Yeah, they have to read his lips. He has said it. If he is told
India has
the 193 countries at the UNGA that we will not talk under duress. We will talk to you, but not under duress. So he's saying whether your army fires at us, we'll fire back, but you'll not bring us to the negotiating table.
Precisely, it becomes...
I think they will stick to it, and that is their stand.
You see, and at the end of the day, who are you talking to? You're going to some obsolete, irrelevant entity, Admiral Iqbal and Abid Rao, called the UN Military Observers Group. You know, the UN Military Observers Group... The UN Military Observers Group...
No, it doesn't matter.
This is irrelevant after Simla summit.
So who is this? So why did you go crying today?
To us
no, sir.
Because you are so scared of us.
Simla agreement,
you are totally become irrelevant to us.
Sir, listen,
absolutely.
Sir, listen. After what happened to you,
you have lost the relevance.
No, Admiral Iqbal. Let me tell you this. After what happened to you in 1971, and nobody better than you.
You are not here to.
Sir, nobody. I don't want to.
I can tell you that
Admiral, listen to me.
You want to keep India together.
Admiral, listen to me.
You are using the Pakistan leverage.
Admiral, listen to me.
You are using Pakistan leverage.
Now, Admiral, listen to me. Let me tell you a bit of history. Why you made
to reply then?
No, sir. Sir, let's hear me, sir. This UN Military Observers Group. You went there. You went crying today. Now, actually, if you ask any serious observer of international law, that Pakistan, everybody is laughing at you today, Air Marshal Rao, for having done that, because in July 1949. India and Pakistan signed the Karachi Agreement, right?
You and your panel is everybody.
Sir, the whole world.
You and your panel.
Sir, you ask anybody today.
The whole world.
That
no. Where is the world? Whom should why the
sir, you name one. You name one serious
sympathetic attitude towards Pakistan getting isolated.
No, sir. Okay.
Leave it to government of Pakistan.
Okay, so Abid Rao. Abid Rao. No. 1 second. Abid Rao. Let me tell you this. There is nothing. You can go to the Taliban for all we care and say that this is how.
We will go to the Taliban if there need be. Sir, I can assure you.
Sir, the question is.
If you don't mend your ways, we will prefer to go with Taliban.
Sir, this is exactly you are now.
Listen to the logic.
No, you see, this Sushant, this is the kind of argument which is going. Now, next you'll say we'll go to the Al Qaeda. We'll go to Al Zawahiri.
You are the fact of the matter.
This is where you reveal yourself. Admiral Iqbal, this is where you reveal yourself.
Country, for God's sake. They are already a Talibanized country. They are already gone to the Taliban. They are hand in glove with the Taliban. And what the Admiral is saying is only buttresses the fact which is already known, very well known across the world. In fact, if you ask me, the ISIS is basically a plural of ISI. They both function in the same way. What the ISI trained goons have done in Jammu and Kashmir by massacring civilians and beheading people is what is exactly what the ISIS is doing. So there's very little to choose between the Taliban in Khaki and the Taliban in Mufti in Pakistan. They are basically Pakistan army is a Talibanized army. For people who can't see that writing on the wall, I think they're completely purblind. So for the Admiral to, lecture us that he will turn to Taliban, let him first take care of himself, because first thing that the Taliban are going to do is going to basically create havoc inside Punjab, where the Admiral lives in, with all the kind of goodies which he has got from his service. So he is the guy who should worry about the Taliban. I don't think we need to worry about the Taliban. As far as the Al-Qaeda is concerned,
I get a sense.
Pakistani links with the Al-Qaeda are also very well known. Why else do you think a person like Osama bin Laden was living right under the nose of the Pakistan army? So for these guys to try and say all this, I don't think it washes down anybody's throat anymore.
Sir, can I request you?
I can tell you, you are so scared. India will not rest. I can assure you, till you sort out Kashmir, till you solve Kashmir, you will not live in peace.
Sir, okay, so have you finished, sir? Can I just make one sincere request to you?
Let me just tell this guy one thing. We can manage, but whatever these guys are throwing at us, whether they will be able to manage and survive, it's already a basket case. It already goes with a begging bowl all over the world to get some money so that they can run their own country. For this guy to be threatening India in the way he is doing, it's rather rich from a beggar country to come from.
Beg and go to everybody's. Pakistan
Sir,
of course you can beg. You are beggars.
Unnecessary.
Come to India.
You are beggars. You are using which you should avoid.
Where is the question?
I will not respond. I don't want to stoop so low to say something bad about India.
Sir, I'll tell you one thing.
No, I can say a lot of bad things, but I will not.
No, you can't.
Because the aim is not to provoke you.
Sir, you know what happens.
Unreasonable response.
Sir, I'll tell you what is. Sir, I'll tell you. Now, whatever and what is wrong in what?
Say something that I should respect you.
So can I say one thing? Sir, can I say one thing? There are many adjectives we can use for your country. It is a banana republic.
We can also
it is a failed state.
We can use also.
Right. It is a basket case.
Land of cowards.
It is generally a bankrupt country. However,
we can use
Admiral,
before Pakistan.
Admiral, forget what happened to you in your previous wars.
There's so many adjectives we know.
Sir, the question
I thought you would.
Sir, the question is today. This is no way.
Logic.
No, this is. Sir,
please be serious about it.
I am very dead serious about it, sir. And in case you did not hear it, an increasing number of serious people from the Indian political establishment are now beginning to say, let us give it back to Pakistan. If you don't understand that language, sir, it is at your own peril. Because you want to... And as far as...
In spite of Pakistan being peaceful with you, you are trying to trouble Pakistan when Pakistan is fully engaged in its own problem. I think shame on that sort of neighborhood.
It's not engaged in any warfare. It's not engaged in any. It's a phony war you are fighting. That whole bloody Zarbe is a completely phony war.
Okay, so now
I tell you, Pakistan is doing you a great favor.
Mr.
Otherwise,
Iqbal,
who would have been fighting Taliban?
It's not doing anybody a favor.
Who would have been fighting
It is basically trying to prepare for the end game in Afghanistan, because that's the only country it thinks it can go and conquer. And then it wants to transfer all those militants into Jammu and Kashmir, and it is preparing the ground for that. So please don't try and fool us and you're not doing anybody a favor.
I think the worry out here.
You're fighting a phony war.
1 minute, just a minute. The worry out here, in my view, KC, is also that Pakistan is now increasingly afraid of being encircled. Because if you look at the sum total of Modi's visit to the US, America was very much in favor of a stronger Indian involvement in Afghanistan. And after the exit, it is generally believed that in order to keep the balance in the subcontinent, you will have to have a stronger
you're still in the hangover of Afghanistan.
Now, my question to you, sir, is...
I'm shivering here, sitting on this chair. Sir, I'm so scared, I'm shivering.
Javed Iqbal, please don't do this. Let's have a serious discussion.
The end game will be... Now, you are not understanding one thing. Please do understand one thing. Please allow me to speak.
Mr. Iqbal.
Please understand
Mr. Iqbal,
that if tomorrow Durand line comes to Wagah border, you will regret it. Don't push us that way. Please.
No, we will not regret it. You will regret it because you are the guys who will go under first.
By all my brother, look, you see, they are all senior officers. Please understand that. We are protecting you from this hot wind. Please understand that. God. Be logical. Please understand that.
Sir, I don't understand the logic of a person who says to me, and just care to listen, who says on a national channel being broadcast in India and 46 countries, I don't understand your logic at all, Admiral.
What you are doing,
because 10 minutes back you were saying, 10 minutes back you said we'll use the Taliban against you, right? And now you are saying, please don't let the Durand line come to the LOC.
I say that we are doing this. You are pushing us.
Are you sure which side you belong? Are you sure what you want to do?
The Durand line will reach the Indus River. It will not reach the Radcliffe line. That is what they need to be worried about.
The Durand line will shift to Wagah border.
Sir, you know, the fear
it will first shift to the Indus River.
You may choose to sup with the devil, right? And especially somebody called Ayman al-Zawahiri, who you prop up every few months when you fear that you are becoming irrelevant, and then put a video before this extremely sick 65-year-old man and say, please tell the whole world that we've started an Al-Qaeda outfit in India. We're not scared. Everybody in the world has seen through your game ever since Osama bin Laden was found on your soil, Javed Iqbal. And I hope that Abid Rao...
Arnab, you have forgotten about...
My point. No, 1 second, sir. I have listened very patiently. My one question
to you. You go to 2611, you go to 71.
Abid Rao.
I think every day we should discuss the entire history of this region for last 50 years.
Marshal, Osama was found on your soil.
Ji.
Osama was found on your soil. It is a reality. It is one of those things that reveal the kind of country that you are. You don't expect after that anyone in the world to take
you think therefore LOC is being violated?
No, sir. This is principally your entire approach is we'll increase our nuisance value and the world will begin to look at us. That's the only point.
Let's expand our discussion to 1947, then we'll go back to 1527 when Babur attacked India.
I am talking about today.
I mean, I don't know where do you stop, what is your focus? The only thing common is that you want to malign Pakistan on every issue that has happened in history.
Sir, I have given a series of ceasefire violations. I've been saying repeatedly that I don't really care what happens to your country.
No, you have moved from ceasefire to now Ayman al-Zawahiri. So many things you tell me which I don't know. We can't comment on that.
So, you ask any Indian today, he doesn't care. You go and commit collective national harassment.
Pakistani also don't care. But I mean, what are you saying? I mean, are we here to exchange bad impressions about each other?
Keep your bullets to yourself. You put your bullets in this direction, you're going to have 10 bullets firing back.
I can't hear you now.
Now, of course, you can't hear me. But KC Singh, now what's the reasonable approach?
The speech is broken.
Guys? What is the approach now, KC?
Arnab, the government, as I said, the government have decided that they will not negotiate under duress, which is correct. So they will exchange fire for the next couple of days or 3 days till both sides have reached a point where Pakistani army realizes every time they start an operation, they run back to their civilian government like Kargil. So once they've started an operation to which they don't have an end, that has been traditionally the problem of Pakistani army adventures. They start without an end game because they assume the other side will buckle and they will have what they want. And when that doesn't happen, then they send the Prime Minister to Washington, like they sent after Kargil, or they'll scurry around or they come to Tashkent.
So should we increase our response from the Indian side? Should we push back more from the Indian side, Sushant, at least for the next few days, till they get the message?
I have no doubt from the statements the government is making and considering the two sensitive elections, because Prime Minister will be and is being asked by the opposition that you said your response will be very muscular. So what is it you've done? So it's inevitable that government's response will be muscular. So in the next few days, the Pakistani army will realize the foolhardiness of this approach, and then that is where the diplomacy starts. Diplomacy cannot start while this is going on, because that's what Prime Minister told UNGA.
And what if the Pakistanis don't pull back? Then what, Sushant? What if they continue with this provocation? Are you completely convinced, Mr. Sushant, that we'll be able to make them realize and pull back?
No, you will continue to go up the escalation ladder, and I think it's very clear from the approach of this government that it's not going to back down, and I don't think the public opinion also will allow it to back down. I think that is very clear. The government has made it it was not interested in some kind of a shooting match with the Pakistanis in the first place, which is why I think Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was invited to India, and we wanted to restart some kind of a process of engagement. The Pakistanis shot themselves in the foot by sabotaging it and meeting the Hurriyat and creating a kind of a situation which was not conducive to a dialogue. So I think the government of India has made it extremely clear it's not going to back down. It will continue to give a very firm and robust riposte to any kind of ill adventure which comes from the Pakistani side, and then you will then steadily go up the escalation ladder. That is what the Pakistanis will ultimately have to figure out, how high they want to go on this. At the very extreme, I think it could mean a complete collapse of the ceasefire, And if that is what we are going to, that is the pass we are going to reach after 10 years of this ceasefire, howsoever ineffective this ceasefire was, then so be it. And then perhaps you would look at the next stage of escalation. And if that is the stage we have to go, then so be it. But I don't see how this government can really afford to back down. I don't see that happen anymore.
Right. So can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, Marshal Abid Rao? You know, at the end of the day, what's going to happen? We are going to hit back at your positions. We'll give you a fitting and maybe more than an equal military response. You will go crying for a few days.
Are you think?
What would you have gained?
Are you thinking that we are naive to the situation?
What would you have gained?
Don't you think we realize
my
this?
question to you, sir, is what would you have gained?
I'm surprised at your imaginary enemy, and then you start getting scared of it.
There is no enemy. There's only a country that's making a nuisance of itself. There is only a country called Pakistan which is making a spectacle of itself.
There is a lot of imaginary fear that I'm hearing from your participants. But remember, the game you're playing can be played by two. It is not a one-sided game.
So nobody wants to play a game with you.
Pakistan.
Nobody wants to play a game with you.
You are playing a game.
You can go. This is like
you make accusation. You believe in it yourself. You want us to believe in it. Then you start threatening that this is what you will do. This is what your government will do.
Sir,
I mean, all governments are open to defend their policies that they've been talking
I'll just give you a very brief summary, Marshal. Now consider for a while.
Also.
No, consider for a while, Vice Marshal, that you are not sitting in Karachi. Just look at it very logically and look at it from the point of view of a non-involved Pakistani observer who feels that he has to take and support
I have always talked neutral. I have never been unreasonably biased towards Pakistan
I'll tell you what has happened. So that understand, sir. Your country, you know, your Prime Minister was invited to India. And I don't want to go back, was invited to India. India said it will resume the talks. He was called for the swearing in, then he was called for serious discussions. And then there was domestic tension, right, with Imran Khan and other forces pushing against him. The Pakistani military took advantage of the situation. They had a meeting with Nawaz Sharif, and Nawaz Sharif agreed to give them control of a large part of their foreign policy, especially vis-a-vis Kashmir. After that, Nawaz Sharif started upping the ante, and then your High Commissioner tried to meet these so-called separatists. You worsened the situation, we pulled back. You went crying to New York, nobody listened to you. You went to Ban Ki-moon, nobody listened to you. Today, America doesn't listen to you. India's position in the world is pretty much stronger. So the last resort, you put up Ayman al-Zawahiri's video at that point of time and said, I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda unit. I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda unit. You shot it somewhere near Quetta. You shot it somewhere near Quetta. You told Ayman al-Zawahiri, go there, stand before a camera. We give you a toy camera, put out a video, look deadly to the world and say, I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda outfit in India. That got 15 minutes of publicity across the world. Then people moved on because they are busy with ISIS. And once that was over, now as a last resort, you say just take the 120mm mortars and shoot any damn target in India, kill as many Indian children, men and women, and hope that the world will look at you. Now, it's not going to happen even so. Even at the end of this today, nobody is now the Indian government is going to hit back at you. You'll have to pull back. What have you gained in all of this? What have you gained in all of this?
Okay, first of all, I will tell you what I will just say that what we have gained is that your media is selling a lot of lies.
So what have you gained? That is what we have
gained. You make accusations, allegations, you believe in it themselves. You pressurize your government to do something silly and spoil all the diplomatic effort that has gone in past, open and in the background diplomacy.
So think about it.
That goes bad because
think about it,
media puts so much of pressure on Indian government.
Just think about it, Marshal.
Please let me finish. Now,
ask this question to your conscience tonight.
You are exposing yourself.
Ask this question to your conscience tonight.
Desires about Pakistan.
What has my country gained?
Those hidden wishes that America should abandon Pakistan, our friends should abandon Pakistan. If that has happened, it is our worry. We will look after that. Thank you very much for your sympathies.
Marshal, today I can,
when you say Pakistan Army fires,
you are in Karachi, but I can sense, you are in Karachi, I can sense I can sense a growing nervousness. Now I'm telling you, your nervousness is your problem, but frankly, you would have gained nothing. You're about to pull back.
No, but
the Indian forces will hit at you.
I mean, you make false allegations.
And ask any Indian. Ask any Indian, they'll say you asked for it.
Beyond reasonable logic.
Well, Marshal, I've put a case before you. Please do think about it. I thank you very much for joining me on this debate on the News Hour tonight.